What happens on closing day for your new home? My name is Andrew Augustiniak of the Augustiniak Lending Team, and I'm always trying to bring questions that we get to these videos because if somebody else is asking the question, then you guys are probably thinking the question, which is why you're on here typing in the question, which is why you're clicking on this video, because you're probably asked the question, what happens on closing day? And I actually got this question this morning. The exact question was, Andrew, when are we closing? How much money, do we have the amount of money I need to bring to the closing table? Who's gonna tell me where we're signing and how much do I need to bring to closing? And I said, this is a great question to put on here because when you're closing on a house, there's obviously multiple parties involved. There's a lender, there's a title company, there's escrow, there's attorney sometimes depending on what state you're in, there's a seller, there's all these different entities, but I'm gonna break it down and just make it as simple as possible. On closing day, and we're gonna talk Arizona for that matter, because that's where I'm at, but our team does do loans in 45 different states, but we're just gonna use one example. When you sign your loan documents, ends up happening in Arizona, the title company will call you once they have balanced out the closing disclosure. The closing disclosure is where you take everybody involved in this transaction. You have all your title fees, your insurance, your taxes, how much you're paying, down payment, monthly mortgage insurance, home warranty, everything. And the title company and our closing department are going to balance everything out to make sure that everything is in line. The amount the agents are getting paid, the amount the lender is sending over for the loan, that is called balancing out the closing disclosure or closing documents so all parties know what their numbers are. Once we have a final approval on the loan, that balancing of the closing disclosure is going to occur. Once it occurs, the title company will then call the borrower to schedule their signing. It could be on closing day, on the day you're funding, getting the keys, your closing, your signing might be on that day. A lot of times, if it's balanced beforehand, let's say they get it done 2 days before, you could sign 2 days before. A lot of people want to sign earlier. So then on closing day, closing is smooth because just because you sign loan docs doesn't mean, oh, everything's good to go. What ends up happening is let's say you're closing on a Friday and you go in Friday morning to sign your closing docs. Keep in mind, again, you could sign your closing docs on Wednesday if everybody has their ducks in a row. But let's say Friday morning, you're going in at 9 o'clock. The title company has balanced out. They've told you exactly what you need to close, or your lender. A lot of times I send out that final CD. Once title has confirmed this is balanced, I send that over to borrower, say, hey, here are the 2 things you need to know. Your cash to close. Here's your final monthly payment, all balanced out. Here's the closing document. Title will be calling you to schedule your signing. Title calls you, the borrower, says, hey, let's sign 9 a.m. in our office at the title company. Does that work with you? Mr. Borrower says, yep, that works with me. I'm going to the title company 9 a.m. What ends up happening is you sit there and you go through all the disclosures, similar to the initial disclosures that you got in the beginning of the process, and you're signing everything with a notary right in front of you. You're gonna go through that signing. Once you are done with the signing, you've now usually either wired the closing funds to the title company, or you've brought them a check with whatever direction, a cashier's check or anything like that. Once you're done signing, the title company will then scan those documents back in for the lender. So the lender can then go through and make sure all signatures weren't missed. Trust me, it happens all the time. If a signature was missed, it's okay. Don't freak out. There's many times where a signature gets missed by a notary. We send it back out to have them re-sign. The funder and the funding department will go through those docs signed with the title company, and they will make sure everything looks good. All signatures are there. Everything's been notarized. And then they will give the title company, title and escrow, the authorization to record, because at this point they've gotten, the title company and a title and escrow company have gotten the funds from the lender, they've gotten the funds from the borrower, and usually they're not getting funds from the seller. Sometimes they do have to get funds from the seller, but usually funds are going to the seller. And once they get the authorization to record with the county, the title and escrow company will then take that, record it, and make it official with the county. That could happen a few hours after signing. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow. And once it records with the county, now this is an official transaction. The transaction has closed and the legal ownership has transferred over to the new buyer. At that point, usually the agents are made aware that the transaction has recorded with the county as an official transaction. Funds have been dispersed from the title company, usually to the seller of the home and to both agents, getting them paid, any other entities getting paid. And that transaction is now closed, and the agents usually going to call you and give you the keys. And that, my friends, is what happens on closing day. It's that simple. It's actually not the most exciting process in the world. It's not a glamorous process. Sometimes it can be glamorous and all exciting if it's an exciting thing for you as a buyer, but honestly, it's kind of a boring thing, but it's good to know. That's how it goes down. If you guys have any questions, my name's Andrew Augustiniak, and I'm here to answer all your questions. You can find me directly in my information link on my YouTube channel, and I will check you later.